Part of what I want to do in the videos here is to free people from toxic, harmful things that degrade them and take away from them. And unfortunately, a lot of toxic, harmful, damaging beliefs and ideas and things that people labor under are based on good things. And the one that's on my mind at this moment is that people tend to go one direction or another when God says um, to honor your father and your mother. And unfortunately, a lot of times parents forget the part where it says, do not exasperate your children, do not put a heavy burden on them that shouldn't be put on them, and things like that. So I would challenge you um, in all your relationships, but since this is the one at hand, to really think about what that means to honor your father and your mother, because parents make mistakes. Is it dishonoring to your parents to say, I don't understand where you're coming from with this. Can we talk about it? Can we sort through this? I'm not questioning your authority. I'm not questioning your wisdom or your experience necessarily. I'm not really doing that. I don't get where you're coming from here. I don't think that's dishonoring. And I think another thing you should take into consideration is how far down the road you've traveled, because I know this video will be accessible to everybody, and you're going to have some very young people go, see, he said, no, no, no. And the older you get, the more you've had the opportunity to gain wisdom, the more you've had the opportunity to have clarity and insight on this. But wisdom doesn't always come with age. Sometimes also as we go along, we forget things. And so, when your Heavenly Father tells you to honor your father and your mother, do that. But take the time and the diligence to figure out what that means and what it doesn't mean. A lot of times you see people do the exact opposite of honoring their parents by doing things that they think honors their parents. It's dishonoring to them to think that they have bad intentions and to just be obedient, even into your old age. I mean, that's a question you should ask. Did your parents transition from having a relationship with a child to having a relationship with an almost adult into having a relationship with an adult, and then a continuing relationship with someone who is advancing into the higher levels of adulthood, so to speak? Or do they say things like, well, you'll always be my baby, and this and that and the other thing? Do parents stop and say, maybe my kids have a point? Maybe I should listen to them a little bit? Sometimes our kids can teach us things. My kids teach me things all the time, even while I'm training them and raising them and getting them ready for the world. So I don't want you to draw any heavy conclusions to what I'm saying here. And I'm not saying that you should by any means rebel against your parents. But I know there's people out there that really need to find their freedom from false ideas about what that means, and to not labor under false pretenses and false things, and to live a toxic life, especially since a lot of this is very superficial, very lip service type of honoring. It's not honoring at all. But just really, when you have a difficulty with a relationship, remember that there's a practical element to everything the Father tells us to do. There's no crazy things out there with just no logical basis, no practical reality to it. So you have to find that and realize where the rubber meets the road, because it always does. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm speaking straight to your heart there, and giving some of you some freedom to explore the Father's heart and his intentions when he tells us these things, while at the same time experiencing a renewed commitment for some to do what the Father says, because he does have the best intentions for us, and he does know what's going on. And if he ever puts us in harm's way, it's for a greater good. It's not just because he has some highly exalted prerogative to put us through things because he's God, or that it's somehow serving him for us to suffer to no good end. We may not know what that good end is, but there is one.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.